Hi, it's me again with CorelDraw Tips and Tricks. Somebody sent me this graphic, and somebody had inadvertently, when they scanned it, cut off the bottom, and he wanted to know how you could draw it in Corel. Um, I'm going to try to figure out a better way. I did do it. Came out pretty good. A little time consuming and maybe not exactly perfect. But what I did is I scanned it so I could get some outlines. I didn't really have to do that, but I want to get this even. If you can see, this isn't even, so I brought in an indexing line and I put it to the top of that node, and then I grabbed it and I put my center rotation of that node. I don't know that I'm there. I'm going to double check that. See, I'm a little bit off. Put it right there. And then what I need to do is bring, and see, it's didn't scan it very good, so it's kind of hard to get it level, and it's not a perfect in rendition. So let's just move it over a little bit till that bottom part gets there. And can't really say if that's good or not, but it is going through the center of that. Now, this isn't the best way to do it, but right now it's the only way I can think of doing it. The problem is that this section is longer than the other section. And we'll just start. So what I did, I took the three-hand or the three-point curve tool and went from there to that corner. And then I held down the control button, which gives me a perfect line or a perfect curve. But I need it to be a little bit longer. And here's the tricky part. If you'll grab the shape tool and bring this down a little bit and try to just watch and see your lines are not back to perfect. So we'll get them. This is what's going to take some time. Get it fairly close to that line. And that's far enough across. Now we're going to get the three-point curve line again. And we're going to go from that node down to this node. But we're going to have to do the same thing, but I'm going to hold down the control button. It's going to get it. What the control button does, it gets it pretty much even, a concave look. So now we need to bring the shape tool. You've got to go past here. And see, you can move it a little bit and then move your handles and just watch your handles. Now we need to do it 2 more times. And like I said, it's a little bit time consuming and a little bit awkward. Hold down the control button. I'm going to go ahead and do both these lines, and then I don't really know that I have to expand these out. And see, that's not, as far as Corel's concerned, that's not a perfect arch inside there, but we're going to go ahead and elongate these guys and then move our handles down. That worked pretty well. Move this down a little bit. And that one worked, well, kind of hard to tell. Yeah, it's off. So we're going to grab it, grab that handle and bring it in a little bit. Bring in this whole node a little bit. And this is where you could set your nudge factor on something pretty little, like 0.1. Grab your shape tool, and you could grab that node and then use your left arrow key to kind of get it. It's only going to help you in the middle. But I really think that might be good enough. So now I can change my nudge factor. This thing is like 15 inches wide, so I'm going to change it to, with nothing selected, change it to 20. And I'm going to grab my graphic and nudge it out of the way. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to Control G to group those. I'm going to Control D to duplicate them, and I'm going to mirror them. And then I've got to take that node right there and snap it to there. So this gives us some extension. We don't need it on that side, but we need it on this side, and we need it on the top side. I'm going to go ahead and move this out of the way a little bit more. So now I'm going to group this together, Control G. And I'm going to mirror it and Control D to duplicate. and then I'm going to mirror it up and down. Now I'm going to bring my graphic back in to kind of get the feel of how much these two need to be apart. And we can grab this and make sure you have the four-sided cross and put it about where those nodes are. That clicked pretty good to it. Now what I would do is get my graphic out of the way again. And if you don't hit your graphic, just hit the other one. Now I want to make sure these are in the center, so I'm going to select them both and hit C, and they move just minutely. I'm going to bring in the one I did, and that's going to give us a reference on which lines to cut. So we need to definitely cut out these outside lines. We don't need them. And then if you look here, this is cut. So if you hold down your Alt key, you can kind of fish through there. That needs to be cut there. That needs to be cut there. This one, we don't need these lines at all. So I could have cut them before and if there's any lines left, the Smart Fill tool would take care of that. So these lines aren't there at all. I'm going to hold down the Alt key and fish through there. I'm going to hold down the Alt key and fish through there. So anything the virtual segment delete key hits with the Alt key, it deletes it. And then, so these are, now the lines are back. So I'm going to just click through here. I need that line. I don't need that line or that line. You've got to, he could use the example of there. On this part, it's pretty easy because it's all four lines. Nothing's going over or under. There might even be a way you could do it now and cut it in half and, flip it now. And, stay zoomed out far enough so this stops right here. Whoops, see, this is where the Alt key helps you. The Alt key will make a line. So we're going to go right through here. And you don't have to use the Alt key, but you're going to be a little bit faster. So if we use the Alt key and the Alt key, and then the Alt key for sure here, and then just virtual segment delete key, and we're almost done. And then go through here with the Alt key. These lines are not here, so I need to back up a little bit because I cut those other lines. I need these two lines right there to be there. And what I'm saying, the Smart Fill tool will take all that away. If there's any broken lines or anything. But the Alt key can really help you in this case. See, if I don't use the Alt key, I get that square bounding box or box. And one more. A couple more. And it's, because I had to stretch them, it's not perfect. If I figure out a better way, and see, I got a little bit of a leak. So the leaks are probably going to be right here and right there. So I made those lines long enough. So what I would do now to try to make it still symmetrical, I've still got a nudge. I'm going to Control D or hit the plus key, and I'm going to make one of them black by right clicking. Now I'm going to nudge it back. And I can't see my red, so I'm going to go and go up to order, back a page. Now I can see my red, and I should be able to, if I move this line out of the way, okay, remember that I grouped them? So take it all, go up to Object, Group, and ungroup all. I normally don't ungroup all, but in this case, it's going to help you. So what I was saying about the black layer, if I move that, I can see the black layer, or the other layer at least. So then when I move this forward, I can kind of see that my line's off a little bit, so I can do that right there. I just need to cross these lines and see that line's off a little bit so I can move it back. Now take one or the other and move it out of the way. Whoop. Remember, I ungrouped all. Maybe I should have ungrouped just the red and left the black, but since the red's on top, it should just come over. And you can see that the lines are, well, you know what? Instead of doing all that, well, I shouldn't have a link now because I've got double layers. So I'm going to get the Smart Fill tool, cross our fingers, and so I've got the exact same thing on the bottom. Yep, there it is right there. So I didn't make my line quite long enough, but see the black line is still there. So this way I can come through here. I'm going to go ahead and do both bottoms and then just kind of look at them. And I'm a little bit off, so I'm going to take this line and just get the handle. And it's really close enough. I mean, for anybody to call it. But just put that line on top of that. Remember to move the red and not the black. Now, since I made it a little bit longer, I'll go ahead and, even though I think the Smart Fill will take that up, and I could actually cut that, try to cut that black line away. It shouldn't affect it. There we go. And then go ahead and cut these nibs off that I was long enough on. Now cross our fingers and hope it, there it is. And then make it, so since it's a Smart Fill, I don't know if he's going to, engrave this, print it, or cut it. But if you're going to cut it, all you have to do is make a copy of that and then no fill, left click your mouse, right click your mouse on the hairline, and that should cut out. Now, it should be pretty much uniform. I mean, if we look at it, you'd be hard to figure out that it was wrong. I think it looks pretty good. Anyway, I hope that helped him a little bit. Thank you for watching.